What you're about to see is real. This film does not contain actors, scripts, or artificial flavors. All people depicted in this DVD are real Zingerman's employees and customers. Any similarity to any person living or dead is intentional. Removal of your mattress tag is illegal under penalty of law, and imitation is the ultimate form of flattery. But illegally copying this DVD is really bad karma.
You ready for your close-up?
Well, you're super close to my face. Are you sure? Okay.
The surface was so impressive.
Like, and people say it, customers come in and they're like, what are you guys on? You just seem so happy to be at work.
Hopefully we can spread the message so every place else has just as good a service as we do too, which would be nice.
Treating your customers like royalty. Well, we definitely have been treated like royalty today. We're very pleased.
In 1982, Paul and Ari opened Zingerman's Delicatessen in a small town in the Midwest. The deli had 2 employees, 5 tables, and no parking lot. 2 decades later, Zingerman's writes the highly acclaimed Guide to Giving Great Service. It's published in several languages, including Chinese, Russian, and Polish. And then Inc. magazine called Zingerman's the coolest small company in America. Savoir magazine went on to say that when it comes to service, few can rival Zingerman's. By our silver anniversary year, Zingerman's had 7 unique businesses, 550 employees, and $38 million in annual sales. And one hell of a corned beef sandwich.
Our hope with the DVD is that we can offer people who aren't here to do our whole 2-day training seminar a chance to learn from our experiences. We've spent 26 years or so now screwing up regularly, and we've had a lot of good opportunities to learn from it.
We have a recipe for cooking up a great customer experience.
Every single one of us is committed to making their experience completely fabulous.
It works for anybody, any organization that deals with customers. It's about how are you going to create a wonderful experience for those customers, and when that experience is less than wonderful, what are you going to do to fix it?
Every organization makes mistakes, so why are there so many customers who don't complain?
Most people don't complain. Why don't they complain? Because they know they're not going to be taken care of.
It's not worth it. It's way too much stress for what you're going to get out of it.
You walk away sometimes feeling like, well, if you've been treated pretty badly or whatever, and that's not good. That'll keep us from going back.
I think a lot of people don't complain because they don't like the way their complaint is dealt with.
For sure.
Sure,
absolutely.
And they don't want to have a confrontation, and they don't want to fight with anybody.
You have the dread. You walk in and you think, oh, now I have to go back and I have to deal with somebody, and they aren't going to have any authority to deal with it. And the manager won't be there, and then the manager will come out and say something like, well, did you wash that in the washing machine? Or something like that.
Complaints can be discouraging for us to hear, but why is it so important to handle them well?
Because I think that's what separates us from other organizations.
For most folks, complaining isn't an easy thing, and I want to make it easy for them.
Helps them know that we realize that they're people too, and we care about them, and we care about their business.
If they don't complain to us, they're going to go complain to their friends. And chances are it's going to turn into a really bad experience, and they're not going to want to come back.
They probably walk out the door, they never come back, and they go and they tell 5 of their friends.
And they'll tell 2 friends.
And they'll tell 2 friends. And so on, and so on, and so on. It's going to spread like wildfire. So it's best to stop the complaint before it gets to that point.
So the costs are in making the mistake, and the costs are in not fixing the mistake. Fixing the mistake is going to lower your costs all around. Do the math.
So it's better to hear about it so that we can make it right the next time.
Our customers, especially some of the regular customers who love us the most, are some that complain the most.
And they spread the word that it's okay to complain at Zingerman's because they'll make it right and it's okay.
The amount that our customers complain is something that I just find really sort of funny. At first it kind of takes you back, and then you realize how great it is because they know that we're going to do something about it, and they tell us about the little stuff that bugs them. and it's a chance to make those improvements every time.
We want our businesses to grow with the customer. We want lifelong customers. We don't want just somebody who's going to come in once. We want somebody who's going to come in once, bring their kids, see their kids grow up, and bring their grandkids.
You know, at the end of the day, I think most importantly, it's the right thing to do.
As much as we want to handle complaints well, we realize that few people love to deal with them.
The first question I want to ask you guys is who in here likes to handle customer complaints?
Some people love the challenge. I can turn anything around. Just give it to me.
I like getting in there and getting the meat of it and finding out exactly what happened and then doing whatever it takes to fix it for them.
I love doing it. I love handling code runs. They're the best part of my day because it means that we're taking somebody who had a less than spectacular experience and making it out of the water, blown away, fabulous.
And other folks are like,
The rest of you sort of went like this when I asked who likes handling customer complaints. What is it about customer complaints that's hard to do, that you guys don't feel comfortable with or don't like to do?
That somebody has to be right, someone has to be wrong, and it sets up this fight.
Because you want to fight. You want to be right. And that's not what customer service is about.
And so, thank goodness, I now have the steps.
if I know what the steps are, if I follow them, they really do work. It's like a recipe.
At Zingerman's, we found that the best way to keep complaining customers coming back is to follow this simple recipe. Acknowledge the complaint, sincerely apologize, make it right, thank the guest, then document the complaint. Step 1. Acknowledge the complaint.
First, you want to acknowledge the customer's complaint. Let them know that you understand that, they had an issue.
And you want to let them know that, okay, I am listening to you.
You really listen to them, and then you're like, wow.
Like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Wow, that shouldn't have happened.
Oh, wow. And then you'll make eye contact, you'll nod, and you'll show genuine concern that there was an issue.
Anything like that just lets them know that you really do actually care about the fact that they had a problem, not just, well, that was nice, I'm sorry.
You want to actively listen, you want to nod your head and make eye contact.
90% of the time, people want to be heard. This is what they want the most. They're not even necessarily looking for compensation, and they're not looking for excuses.
Step 2. Sincerely apologize.
Apologize for the issue, even if it wasn't your fault.
It's important to apologize.
One of those things is we teach is no room for jokes or excuses.
We don't need to get hung up on, well, it was a new guy, that kind of thing. Just say, I'm really sorry.
You're getting defensive when you're just trying to explain, and it just doesn't help at all. I found 99.9% of the time people don't want to know why something happened. They just want you to make it better for them.
They don't care why it happened, how it happened. They just want it fixed.
So taking that time to explain it, you could use that time better, acknowledging the customer complaint and apologizing, and also then talking about how you're going to make it right for them. So instead of talking about how it went wrong, try talking about how to make it right. You don't have to move on to the next step too fast.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Let me fix it.
Take your time to apologize after you've acknowledged their complaint.
Sometimes it's really, steps 1 and steps 2, again and again and again, acknowledging and apologizing, acknowledging and apologizing. And sometimes I talk about it as being kind of like a DJ mix master, where you're kind of mixing in that, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And what I want to do is I want to mix in a calming phrase. Now the calming phrase is, I'm not going to do anything else until we have this fixed, or I completely understand what you're saying, or I am going to get someone right away to fix this, but still acknowledging and apologizing, because what I want to do is I want to move at the customer's timetable, not on mine.
Your staff will always say, well, it's not really fair because we didn't do anything wrong out there.
So another great thing is that it might not be your fault, but it becomes your problem that you have to deal with.
The customer is not always right, but we always have to make it right for them.
If we point out to them that they're wrong, we totally lose, and nobody's going to walk away feeling good.
And it's not up to us to decide, this guy makes this complaint all the time. He's totally trying to pull one over on us.
when you're acknowledging that complaint and when you're apologizing for that complaint, so much of it is about letting go of that need to be right. Because there's gonna be those times you're like, I know this customer's wrong and I know that we were right in this instance, but we're not gonna win if that happens. And so just letting go of that need to be right is a great place to start.
I should be able to do this. Let go of that. Because why we're here is to create a really exceptional experience.
Step 3. Do whatever it takes to make it right.
What's the third step? Make it right.
Do whatever it takes to make it right for the customer.
You want to communicate to the guests that you are their advocate, you are there, and you're on their side, and you're going to do whatever it takes to turn things around.
And trying to find different ways to making it right, rather than just giving them a brownie and sending them on their way. Trying to find what they really want.
It can be anything big or small.
No, you don't want it to take an hour to make it right. You want to make it right as soon as possible. But if what they want is going to take longer and you can fulfill what they want, then you're going to do it.
In most places, you have to go get a manager's approval for any little thing that you want to do.
I love that here at Zingerman's they give us the power as just a hostess or a busser to be able to do whatever it takes to make it right. If I, on a Saturday night, know a table is completely upset because they waited 25 extra minutes longer than they were supposed to, I have every right to go to the manager and say, we are buying their meal tonight. We need to make this right for them. We need to fix it all. And that's just phenomenal that we actually have that power.
It shows the guests that each person here is empowered to help them. It doesn't have to just be a manager. It can be anyone here on the floor can help them.
Whereas at other restaurants that you work at, you're expected to just leave it up to the managers or maybe not even pay attention to it.
We're told to make it right. We don't have to go and get a manager to do that. We can do it ourselves. Because they don't want to go through like 50 people.
It's always easier if the first person that gets the problem handles it right away. You don't want to have to hand it off to 4 or 5 different people because the more people that it has to go through, the more that the guest is going to get angry because they're going to have to keep telling the story and keep talking about it. Whereas if you right there get to fix it and make it right for them, then it's over with and they don't have to keep thinking about it.
We are empowered from day one to take any steps that we need to take in order to make a situation right. It really makes me value what I do even more.
It makes me feel in charge and powerful.
It makes my job a lot easier.
In making it right, it's kind of going back to the other 3 steps. You want to find out what the guest wants, get it for them, and then go the extra mile.
Step 4. Thank the guest.
Once we've acknowledged, apologized, and made it right for the customer, I think it's really important to thank the guest.
Thank them for letting us know. If we don't know, we can't fix it.
My favorite part is the 4th step, is to thank the customer for telling us that something was wrong and for letting us fix it as well.
The customers, I think, are taken aback. They're like, well, why are you thanking me? But, you know, if, like I said, if they didn't tell me, I wouldn't be able to know, and then they would just leave with a bad taste in their mouth, and that's not what we want.
They can just be, wow, I'm really pissed about this, and just run out.
It's not just another burden. You're thanking them for the opportunity to, you know, make it right.
Thanking them is one of the most important things because it lets them know that we do care. It lets them know that, hey, it's not a burden. It's what we want you to do. We want you to tell us what's going wrong, and we want to make it right, and then we want to show you our appreciation for letting us make that right, because it's only going to be good for us and for the customer. Well, you think about how much effort and how much sort of nerve it takes to actually complain about something. I mean, I do it very rarely myself just because I'm like, oh, I don't have the time, or I don't want to be upset, you know, right now in front of everybody. So if someone actually takes the time to come to you, you absolutely have to thank them, because think about all the work they did and just coming to you to let you know that something wasn't right for them. So people really feel important when you thank them, and when they feel like they're part of the process. People are like, wow, really? I thought you were going to be upset. It totally turns the situation around when you're grateful to them for complaining. I don't know of any other place that thanks you for complaining, except us, which is pretty great.
Step 5. Document the complaint.
Okay, so far we have acknowledged, sincerely apologized, we have made it right for the guests, and we have thanked them for letting us know about the problem. Are we done? No.
The last step in handling a customer complaint is documenting the complaint.
We always want to document so that we can hopefully prevent that mistake from happening again.
I can't imagine not documenting the complaint because that is the only way that we really have the data to back up what's happening.
We have a saying around here, in God we trust, all others, bring your data.
Oh, we're getting complaints about that? Yeah. Oh, how many? Who's complaining? Everyone. Oh, God, how often? All the time. Oh, well, I've actually seen 3 documented complaints about that. Are there others that we're not documenting? Oh, no, I guess that's about it.
Wow, look at this happened 5 times last week. We need to do something.
We have these lovely forms called Code Reds, and Code Reds contain all the information that you need to know to document, write why, explain the problem, explain what you did to fix it, and follow up. And who should follow up, when they should follow up, and how they should follow up.
I think it helps us all learn and to be able to grow from it. We don't claim to know everything.
Documenting gives us the data and it allows us to act quickly and remedy a situation that might start to be going awry.
The partners know, and my manager knows, and maybe in the future, if that ever happens again, we can always fix it.
And sometimes it is letting them know, following up later, this is what we've done to ensure that we don't make this mistake again.
We really want to document the Code Red because it helps us go the extra mile. The following up is just above and beyond what you would get from any other company.
But it's a challenge to turn a negative experience into a positive one.
And in case you haven't been listening, that's acknowledge it, apologize, make it right, thank them, and document.
You know, could we exist without that recipe? I'm sure that we wouldn't go out of business tomorrow if we didn't have it, but why would we not want to have it? It just makes everybody's life easier.
If you're a human being and you're dealing with other human beings, these recipes will work for you. I don't know how well they work with ducks or chickens, but they work with people. Trust me on that.
Make it right. Get out of the way of the slicer.
No, I can't help you. I'm reading right now.
Acknowledge.
Take 2. Okay, I'm ready.
To acknowledge that we love you. What?
Take 2, document.
When it comes to making it right, this is really about the 3 steps. Stop!
I like to complain at Zingerman's because I know they'll listen to me and not tell me I'm just being a baby.
All aboard!